Before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe if you haven't already so you can receive notifications every time a new video is published. Also, remember to leave a comment below. We appreciate your support. Butch Cassidy, Butch Cassidy. If you were living in America in the late 19th century, you may have heard the stories of Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch, a group of fearless robbers who planned their attacks meticulously. Cassidy was born Robert Leroy Parker on November 13, 1866, in Beaver, Utah Territory. Growing up, Cassidy worked various odd jobs to make ends meet, including herding sheep, mining, and working in a slaughterhouse. All the while, he was developing a reputation as a ladies' man, according to some reports. When he was 24, he married a widow named Anne Eliza Lake, who was 20 years his senior. Throughout their marriage, she bore him 4 children. But the relationship did not last long as the couple divorced in 1884. That same year, Cassidy was arrested for horse theft. Later, when his wife learned of the charges against him, she lied to the sheriff, claiming they had been together in San Francisco all along. Thankful for her support, Cassidy took the opportunity to escape. While awaiting trial, he hid with a friend and fellow criminal, Harry Alonzo Longabaugh, a.k.a. the Sundance Kid. In December of that year, both men robbed a train. They joined forces with other outlaws, such as Phil Baca, Ben Kilpatrick, and Joe Lake, forming a gang that became known as the Wild Bunch. From 1884 to 1900, this gang stole between $200,000 and $300,000 in gold and silver. Butch Cassidy's method of operating was different from that of other outlaws. Instead of acting on impulse, his gang carefully selected targets. For example, in 1897, Cassidy and his associates robbed 3 trains and 3 stagecoaches. 2 years later, they robbed 8 trains and 2 stagecoaches. Cassidy didn't believe in killing unless necessary, and during their robbery careers, the gang only killed 1 passenger. He was executed in Bolivia in 1908. Belle Starr, born Catherine Mary Ann Hallisey in 1848, was an outlaw and one of the few female outlaws in American history. She was known as the Bandit Queen. Her father was an Irish immigrant who owned racehorses and a farm in Texas. Her mother, Emily, was born in Arkansas and had Native American ancestry. With such diverse roots, Starr's appearance could be considered mixed race. In fact, there are descriptions of her having red hair, green eyes, and skin like ivory. Historians suggest she identified herself as Irish. She was described as being petite with an attractive face, although she also suffered from dwarfism. Not much is known about her early life, but in the mid-1860s she married a farmer and gave birth to 2 daughters. The following year, she was widowed and remarried. Her second husband, James Starr, was a criminal with a reputation as a drunkard. The couple moved to Indian Territory near present-day Oklahoma City, where they raised 5 sons. There they ran a farm and lived among the Cherokee people, a community her mother's family knew well. Her husband was eventually imprisoned for robbery, and she had to take over the farm with the help of her brother-in-law, Ed McCurdy. When McCurdy fell in love with her instead of paying her back, she turned him away. This marked the beginning of her criminal career as she teamed up with her former brother-in-law and several accomplices to rob stagecoaches and trains, as well as any homestead that got in their way. Even though she preferred to live a quiet life in the countryside, she quickly gained a reputation for being as ruthless as any male bandit. After being blamed for a series of robberies in Indian Territory, she left for Texas and married Sam Blake. However, the marriage was unsuccessful, and she returned to live with her mother. Around this time, the law finally caught up with her ex-husband, James, and he was sentenced to death. Before his execution, he confessed to the murders of 6 men, but claimed he acted alone. When he was hanged, the crowd gathered around, believing his accomplices, including Belle Starr, would seek revenge. No such thing happened, and the story remains a mystery. How did the authorities know James had accomplices if he was the only one who confessed? Was Belle Starr really as harmless as she appeared, or was she even worse? She continued to work with her mother's relatives and other accomplices to rob anyone she deemed worthy. She managed to evade the police until 1883, when she was shot in the back by an unknown assailant. Cole Younger. Cole Younger. The Younger brothers, Cole and Jim, were famous outlaws who operated primarily in Minnesota and Montana during the 19th century. They grew up on their father's farm near Detroit, Michigan. But when the family patriarch died, the boys were sent to live with their uncle in Minnesota. The harsh weather conditions led the family to move to a ranch in South Dakota. During the Civil War, Cole and Jim joined the Confederate Army. When the war ended, they returned to Minnesota and opened a livery stable together. However, their business went bankrupt during the economic downturn of the 1870s. Deprived of resources, the brothers turned to crime, committing minor offenses such as horse theft. However, their methods soon became more violent, and in 1876, they joined forces with the James Younger Gang. Their first major robbery occurred in September of that year when they attacked a stagecoach carrying payroll for the Northern Pacific Railroad. In the early days of the Wild West, women had limited rights and fewer opportunities than men. However, certain women proved themselves capable of breaking the law just like men, if not better. One such woman was Pearl Hart, who robbed a stagecoach with her partner, Joe Book. She became the first woman to successfully rob a stagecoach west of the Mississippi River. Another example is the story of Horace Donahue, who wanted to free her lover, the Chinese bandit Harry, from jail. She paid the sheriff to allow her to visit him and then drugged him, locked him in the bathroom, set fire to the building, and helped Harry escape. However, the sheriff woke up, trapped in the bathroom, and Harry was later recaptured and executed. Regardless of their fates, these women proved that gender was no barrier to success in the world of crime. And indeed, these women's stories were the exception rather than the norm. The end. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this episode, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next one. See you next time.